a little special video. I'm going to talk about the Economist magazine, the new cover for the 2019 magazine. Now, usually we talk about economics when we talk about cryptos, precious metals, energy, the world affairs, and economics, right? Anything financial and market related. And this is sort of related because it is the Economist magazine, and it's owned by you know who, the elitist and Rothschilds and whatnot. And I talked about this in my previous video on the cover of the Economist for the 2019 cover on one of my previous videos. And I'm going to dive deep into this cover. I'm going to try to unravel what all these mean, all right? With my background and experience looking at the news constantly, analyzing, and economics and whatnot. Now, the previous cover was this. It was completely new. It was different. And it caused some buzz, some stir. A lot of people are wondering, well, why would they just have a black cover? What does this mean? Does it mean there's going to be like electrical outages? It's the end of the world? I don't know. Whatever the conspiracy theorists let their minds run, that's what they'll believe. But I'm going to dive deep into possibly why did they change this cover to the new cover, right? So they changed it to this, which is strange. Why would they change their minds? Is it because this is too obvious if something happens? Is it because they had a change of heart? They actually wanted to put some meaning to it? Did the plans change for what the elite are planning for the future, right? So let's take a look at this. So at the top here to the right, we have the moon, the crescent, and we have an invention, and that's Leonardo da Vinci's, one of his sketches for some sort of flying device. Then we have a volcano. What does that mean? It kind of looks like the volcano maybe in Japan, maybe a volcano that recently went off. Now, this is what the cover looks like. So the writing is backwards. You would have to flip the image. Now, to the right here, this old man with these lines, some kind of sketches around his face, the writing above it says facial recognition. And facial recognition right now in 2018, late 2018, we've just seen recently that China's coming out with that social credit score system, right? And it's going to use facial recognition with over 400 million cameras across all cities, streets, intersections, stores, you name it. 400 million cameras, that's more than the population of the entire United States, to put in the perspective. So facial recognition is going to be, it's Orwellian, yes, but it's going to be a big thing in Asia, as we could see. So that's what they're possibly hinting towards, and that may be coming to the West, and I'm pretty sure they're planning on that. Now, of course, we have Trump, right? Now, this sketch around his face actually looks more like the Fibonacci sequence, and I'm a trader, right? The Fibonacci sequence, what that means is it's the universal mathematical equation for how things grow. If you ever look at a seashell, you can see that it repeats itself. It looks like the way that it grows, it just keeps cloning itself, and it creates that beautiful pattern. Same with trees. If you cut it, you have the circles within its trunk. If you look at the leaves, there's just multiple patterns of each other. If you look at markets, That's what fractals are, and that's what creates psychological patterns. And humans also have the Fibonacci sequence with related to their emotions and their thought patterns. It gets pretty deep if you study it. Now here we have a panda, very angry panda, staring at Trump, and that's obviously China. Panda represents China. And then we have Putin. And then the writing next to Putin's face is Putin's pipelines. And that could refer to the gas pipelines that go into Europe. It could refer to the oil pipelines down by Iran, going from Iran to Russia. And then there's pipelines that are being talked about from Saudi Arabia to going all the way up through Israel or possibly through Egypt into Europe. And these are plans if you really follow the global economic geopolitical landscape. I don't want to explain that right now, but that's what it's referring to. Now, to the right here we have Pinocchio. So somebody's lying. And that's the only thing I can think of right now. I mean, let's talk. Someone's lying. There's a lot of lies. Maybe they're talking about mainstream media. I don't know. And then we have a little pit bull. And the writing next to the pit bull is Britain beyond Brexit. So they're referring to the Brexit. And recently we've seen that Theresa May and the UK, it's complicated. Theresa May obviously does not really want the UK to break off from the European Union, from the aristocrats and the elite, the global order, whatever, the elitist from Brussels. And the way they're doing it is she's presenting it like she wants a Brexit, but the only way they will get it is through a deal that pretty much means not much changes, and they're still stuck in the European Union. And then we have a Indian elephant to the left here, and you can see its horns are pointing up, kind of like arrows you would see correlated to the stock market, so possibly their economy. And then we see Gandhi down here. And he is, I'm not sure what he's doing. It looks like one of those, I mean, it looks like possibly some sort of device for drilling, or maybe for a water well, something like that. It's hard to see or define. And then to the right of Gandhi, we have a stork with a package in its mouth, usually correlated or referring to storks bringing babies, right? So, well, in the U.S., there was that tale that parents would tell their children where babies come from. They would say that they come from storks carrying the baby. I don't know where that originated from, but you could look into it. Either way, the bag that it's carrying, which is supposed to carry the baby, has barcodes on it. So what does that possibly mean? Are kids gonna come with barcodes? Maybe a chip or something in the future, or their DNA is being recorded? But I don't know. You can speculate all you want on that. But obviously these are all pretty encrypted, right? These are like encrypted messages. I will talk about Da Vinci and his drawing. Obviously it's pointing to the crescent moon. The crescent moon has a lot to do with Islam, but I'll go a little more into detail about that. And then right over here to the right of the stork, above it, we have the four horsemen, which is like biblical end of times type imagery. That's what it derives from, if you read the Bible. And then down here we have an electric car. You could think of Tesla, or you could think of that's the future, electric vehicles. But you should also look at where everything is placed on the globe, right? It might have something to do with that as well. So where to from here? Now we have right here possibly voting boxes to the right of the veteran man. That's what it's called. And those voting ballot boxes, I'm not sure what that flag is or that symbol is, but it has something to do with voting. Now, the veteran man, he's holding a cell phone, looks like an Apple cell phone, with a QR code, right, that you scan. Now, what does that mean? Maybe it's referring to digital currencies like cryptos, because those are what you scan if you want to transact with cryptos, possibly. He's also wearing a VR, virtual reality glasses. That's what it looks like. And he has a tattoo on his forearm here that has something to do with DNA. What could that possibly mean? Well, they're experimenting a lot with DNA, right? Also, the QR code in the phone, that is also how currency will be transacted in the future. So that's positive for cryptos, one could theorize. In his right hand, he's holding a pot leaf. Marijuana is becoming legalized in the United States currently. In the other hand here, he's holding a baseball. I'm not sure why. And then in the other hand, he's holding a pendulum, possibly representing the haves and the haves not, because there will be a lot of people who will have a lot of wealth and land and property, and those who will not in the near future. As I study economics, and I've proven that we're going to go through a financial reset and a huge wealth transfer. And that is what WolfPack Cryptos and MMGinvest, my other YouTube channel, is focused on right now and trying to benefit from. To the left here, we have some sort of reptilian creature. The only thing I could think of is the what is it? It'll come back to me. The dragon lizard from not Australia, but that the island. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then we have this woman right here, and I'll talk about that when I start talking about Da Vinci. Now you can see on his chest he has tattooed above his heart #MeToo. Now, the only thing that comes to mind is, the Me Too movement after the Hollywood scandals. And then we have a lady to the right here, in the bottom right corner. There's no writing or anything like that, and I do not know who she is. Maybe you guys could put in the comments section who she is, or you guys can enlighten me. I don't know. Have fun with this. This is about having fun, right? One could speculate all this has real meaning. They're gonna do something. It's all planned. Others could speculate that they make these covers just to represent the times and to cause a lot of theories, to cause a lot of stir, and people. It's like free PR and marketing for the Economist if they make these encoded covers that people can try to decode. So, from the word of mouth and people's curiosity, the Economist gets a lot of free advertising from that, if you're not into the conspiracy theories. And this lizard, it just came to mind, looks like a Komodo dragon. I am not sure what that means or represents. Once again, leave in the comment section your thoughts and opinions. And you guys can start a conversation, right? Now let's read the main topics in this new issue. Leonardo da Vinci, 500 years on. Angelina Jolie, responding to refugees. Pony MA, virtuous tech. Christine Lagarde, inclusive growth. Inclusive growth. Okay, so Christine Lagarde, she's made recent comments about cryptocurrencies, how central banks could start making their own, and how she thinks that cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will possibly be the future of money and transacting, right? The tool. Currency is a tool for transacting, so we don't have to barter anymore. Money is gold. Everything else is just credit. And that's a quote from JP Morgan. Lauren Powell, jobs, voting rights. So I was right about that. Stacy Cunningham, markets and Main Street. Interesting. So the virtuous tech thing, virtuous. Think about that. What does virtuous mean? Virtue signaling. That's what comes to my mind. So more censorship. In voting rights, so I can't. I'm gonna have to read this. I did buy it. I'm gonna have to wait for it in the mail. I mean, they changed the cover, so they delayed the blacked out 2019 cover issue. And markets and Main Street. So I'm gonna buy a few of these, and I'm gonna read one of them, and I'll possibly make another video once I go through it. I can't share the actual, what's in it, but I could maybe highlight some things I found interesting from what they say, right? So let's talk about this satellite spaceship looking thing and Leonardo da Vinci. I'll go into Leonardo first. So that one face, before I go into Da Vinci, I did forget to cover that. The one face who I had a hard time figuring out who it may have been. This old man on the right here with this hat, right? And leave in the comment section who you believe it might be. But I am not sure. There was a few people who came to my mind. And the first one was possibly Karl Marx. Now, this is the 133rd edition? Or the 33rd magazine cover edition, this one, for 2019, the world in 2019. Now, if you guys know the meaning behind 33rd, and his hand, on his chest and his vest, you guys could go wild with that conspiracy, right? But if you don't know who Karl Marx is, he published the Communist Manifesto. Now, it does kind of look like him, but there's no pictures of him wearing a hat like that. So that's just speculation. But he would be a perfect fit, especially for the times, especially for a financial reset. What happens is when economies really start tanking and all of the debt that's been printed by central banks and governments pretty much starts imploding, entitlement programs start imploding, and then everyone overnight becomes a socialist or commie, so they get their free stuff. Especially the baby boomers, because they just can't work any longer, right? And once the stock market goes down, everyone loses their retirement. I could easily see a huge wave of leftists, which is usually which does mark the end of empires, and that's how empires eventually collapse. In the end, nobody gets anything for free, and everyone just become extremely poor. But who else could it possibly be? Well, Charles Darwin. Although, again, the hat, it doesn't match that photo, but the beard does in the face. And there was another person, Charles Darwin's partner. Well, no, this is Mark Twain. This was another person, but he never had a beard. He only had like a mustache that I know of and I see in pictures. But Charles Darwin's partner, he did wear hats like that, but he wore glasses as well, and he had the same beard. So it's hard to say, honestly. But Charles Darwin also fits that picture, except for the hat. It's a little different. But I can't find a picture of that specific person posing the same exact way. Interestingly, this man, his partner, had something to do with socialism as well. And if you guys don't know what Darwinism is, it's evolution, right? And you guys know what evolution is. It's the origin of species, how animals, even human beings and whatnot, they derive from survival of the fittest, and the animals that survive are the fittest for the environment, and then slowly their genes are altered through generations to survive and adapt to their environment. And that's how that's what Darwinism is in a nutshell. All right, let's get to the space satellite thing. So if you guys remember this picture to the left, it is what it means is the new horizon. Well, what they wrote here is New Horizons Ultima Thule. So what does that mean? Well, New Horizons meet Ultima Thule. Probe's next target gets a nickname. The New Horizons spacecraft's next flyby target now has a nickname befitting the object's exotic nature and locale. On January 1st, 2019, the NASA probe will zoom by a small object officially known as 2014 MU69, which lies about 1 billion miles, 1.6 billion kilometers beyond the orbit of Pluto. That is really far away. 1 billion miles beyond Pluto. So a NASA probe is going to be that far away. I don't know how we get signals from distances. I mean, come on, 1 billion miles away. And how long does it take for something to fly that far? Anyways, the MU69 will become the most distant object ever observed up close. Now, listen, I'm not exactly sure if this is the same, the New Horizon. So the New Horizon was the same, I think, satellite, which carried that plate with the veterinarian man's picture and like a disc, not a disc, but like a CD. There weren't even CDs back then. This thing launched a long time ago. I'm not even exactly sure what year, but it was decades and decades ago, and it carried all of the information of humanity on it. This might be the same spacecraft because that's the only thing I could think of that could be that far away right now, because it has to take a long time for something to travel over 1 billion miles away from planet Earth. So back to this article. But we don't have to call it MU69 anymore. The New Horizons team has just nicknamed the body Ultima Thule, a term used in medieval times to mean beyond the known world. Thule was a location in far northern Europe, hazily invoked by the ancient Greeks and Romans. Over the years, the term apparently referred to the number of different places, including Norway, Ireland, and Iceland. So that's what it means. So that is going to pass by, I guess, some sort of asteroid, I believe. Stern and Hinn. So I will post this in below this video so you guys can read this and watch this video. But I believe it's traveling by a small asteroid. This is an old article right now. So I believe this was published in 2014. Or is this new? Yeah, March 2014. And it's going to go by a asteroid, apparently. So you guys can read more up on that. Alright, let's get to Da Vinci. So there's a lot of Da Vinci in here. There's one of Da Vinci's drawings. Da Vinci also drew the Veterinarian Man and the Mona Lisa over here to the left, which doesn't look like Mona Lisa, and I will talk about that in a second. So Leonardo da Vinci, he did paint the Mona Lisa, probably the most, one of the most, if not the most famous painting in the world, and also The Last Supper. He painted that as well. And then here is his sketch of the Veterinarian Man, or the Veterinarian Man. I know I'm butchering it. And then here's his little invention that he drew. And also other things, right? The crossbow and whatnot. He did a lot. And this was the background to and look at this. This looks like a spaceship down here with wheels. It's very interesting. So, just a few things to mention. Recently, there was some codes found in the Mona Lisa's eyes, like extremely small. He apparently wrote his initials and then something else in the other eye. You guys could research that on your own time. So he does put code and secrets into his works, and a lot of people have made full documentaries on that and have studied it in and out. I am not the right person to do that, and you guys could look into it. But it's interesting that the Economist uses a lot of Leonardo da Vinci's works and codes, and I have no idea if he was, a Mason or whatever. And here's some more of his works. I am not sure if there was any UFOs or anything, but there are interesting things in his paintings, and a lot of people have done full documentaries on that. Like this painting has an orb with flying small things in it, possibly stars. You guys could look deeper into that. Also, what I found really interesting was that movie with Tom Hanks in it, Da Vinci Code. That was a great movie, and I loved the treasure hunt and the meanings behind it, and I wish they would make more movies like this currently. But that also talks about all the codes and the meanings and all the things Da Vinci did. And Yeah. And there's a lot of symbolism in this movie as well. It's great to watch and see all the symbolism and the codes and the meaning, the secret stuff within the movie. All right, let's get to this. So you can see to the bottom left here is the writing next to that lady says Mona Angelina. So referring to Mona Lisa, but with Angelina. I I do not know. So I started Googling it, and this is what I come across. But if you look at the Mona Lisa, right? It is that picture on the cover there is dressed just like the Mona Lisa, except with Angelina's face. So if we go back, you can see she's wearing the same thing, like the same type of gown. But there looks like there's a hood on the back, but it does look like Angelina's face. I don't know, guys. It's weird. So that's interesting, right? And then here's some more Google images. It looks just like this. This is pretty much what it looks like. And actually, does the Mona Lisa have a hood in the back? Yeah, she sort of does, see? So there is. This is pretty much what they put on the cover right here. Strange. I do not know what that means. You guys can put in the comment section whatever you think it means. So that's pretty much it for the Economist 2019 cover. It is strange that they changed it from that just plain black cover to this. I don't think they've ever done that where they've changed it prior to issuance or midway through. There's a lot of symbolism, a lot of meaning, a lot of code. You guys could speculate why they do that. Maybe just to cause a lot of stir, a lot of buzz. They know a lot of people will buy it then just to read what's in it for fun. Maybe there is real meaning behind it. I have no idea, guys. But yeah. I mean, some of it seems a little immature and weird. Some of it is actually very deep and meaningful, and others are just current events, right? So you guys could have fun with it. It is $13.95 right now, and I buy a few because later you might be able to sell it for a lot more. I do have the actual paper version of the world in 2017. I think that this one will be worth a lot. It is already worth around $50 online. So there you go, 100% return on investment. And yeah, also another thing when I was researching that I came across that I had no idea about, which relates to macroeconomics, is Ray Dalio. He owns the largest hedge fund in the world. He has the most amount of money under management than anyone else in the world, and he just came out with a book called Big Debt Crisis. And here's what Ben Bernanke, the Fed chairman during the Bush Jr. presidency, who initially started quantitative easing and supposedly saved the economy by printing like more than $4 trillion, and which will have, you know, the fractional reserve lending effect of causing tens of trillions of dollars to flood into the world economy through dollars, because that's what happens, because you could lend dollars like over 70 times and it has a multiple of it, a multiple effect. That's how debt works. Once $1 is issued, you could create like something crazy. You could lend it out 70 times under low interest rates. And what it does is it causes a giant debt bubble across the world and misallocation of capital. Now I'll digress, all right, guys. But Ray Dalio, he's a big deal, all right. And Ben Bernanke just read his book, and this is what he said. Ray Dalio's excellent study provides an innovative way of thinking about debt crisis and the policy response. So really, Ben Bernanke. Alan Greenspan really started this bubble, but Ben Bernanke blew it up after the 2008 crash, and of course Ben Bernanke did not see it coming, right? Here's another quote from Larry Summers. Larry Summers, I could go all day about him. He's like an elitist, like mouthpiece, but he's for some reason they always put him on MSNBC, and he always gives us thoughts about the markets and the economy, where it's going. I don't know why anyone listens to him. Both of these guys have been completely wrong, especially when it mattered the most. This is his thoughts. Ray Dalio's book is must reading for anyone who aspires to prevent or manage through the next financial crisis. Really. So it is out. It just recently came out. You could buy it on this place. I don't like him though. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys as well, because I came across this during my research that I did for the cover of the 2019 Economist magazine. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video wherever you can, and please leave your comments in the comment section, your thoughts and opinions. Alright guys, until next time.